This video shows the scorpion to rolling sequence, and this sequence helps you play with different bases or parts of the body that are in contact with the ground. There's 3 sequences that we will teach in this video, that I will teach in this video, and when you can put them together in fun and creative ways is when you've really mastered these concepts. So we'll start with going from the scorpion position to your back. Then I will teach going from the back to the scorpion or belly position, and then finally a way to go from the 90-90 sitting position to the side, and then finding your way into basing on your back and basing on your belly through scorpion rolling. So we will start with the scorpion position and how that can roll onto your back. You can choose the progression in terms of difficulty with your knees lifted or your knees on the ground. For the sake of this exercise, I'm going to keep my knees on the ground the entire time, but if you'd like to add challenge, feel free to put more weight in your hands and engage your core by lifting your knees off the ground throughout the flow. So I'm going to start in a child's pose and do a straight arm vinyasa, coming into my scorpion position. And from here, if I lift the left leg and roll onto my hip, I then want to bring my right shoulder under me by lifting the shoulder and sneaking the arm through, and then rolling onto my back. And now I've arrived in back facing. To reverse it, I'm going to straighten my right leg, plant my left hand near my right arm, lift my right shoulder, roll onto my belly. On the other side, I'm going to look to the right. I'm going to lift my right leg, placing it behind me, lift my left shoulder and sneak that arm through, and then I'm coming onto my back. When I'm ready to reverse it, I straighten the leg that I'm rolling onto. So in this case, it's the left. I roll onto the left hip, plant the right arm, lift the left shoulder, and return to belly. So that is an easy way to move from the scorpion belly to the back. Now if I want to move from the back to the scorpion, as you saw me doing, I'm going to straighten the leg I want to roll onto it, planting the right. So I'm sort of basing with this right shoulder at the moment. To change that, I need to plant the left arm and push into it so that I'm off the ground. The weight is now bearing on this hand. Plant my right hand and roll. On the other side, here I can add in an arm circle. And when we do arm circles, I really think about reaching as far out as I can when the arm is moving around the space. And this can be challenging if you don't have a lot of room, but be cognizant of making the arm as long as possible. So if we're on the back and I need to move this way, I'm going to straighten my left leg, roll. I might sweep my arm up, plant that arm, lift the opposite shoulder, and come onto my belly. One more sequence here is going from the back to a seated 90-90 and then back down. And so that happens from when you're laying on your back and your feet are standing. You can rock backwards, forwards, and come up and find your 90-90 seated position. So that means that coming out my thigh and my knee bend make a 90-degree angle, and the same for this back leg. As we've done in previous videos, you can always switch here to the other side and move on. If I'm on this side where I'm sitting now facing with my right hip. I'm going to lean down and extend my right forearm to the ground to make contact and help me lower. Here I add in a nice big arm circle, and that brings me to my back. I can bring my knees to stand. I want to continue moving to my left, so I'm going to lower my left leg, sweeping my other arm to find a planting position, lifting that shoulder, and rolling on. This can be then integrated into a vinyasa. And play with in many different ways. Remember, you can always go whenever you're on your back to standing or to sitting, by giving yourself a little rock and momentum to come up, and then finding your 90-90 hip position, and you can always switch directions here by getting a little bit of a hip swivel. And the idea is to master these 3 base changes, so going from belly to back, and then back to belly, and then from seated down to the side, and then back to belly or belly to back. And then figure out how you can put them together into a little bit of a creative flow and movement sequence that makes you feel good, and that allows you to explore taking up space and changing up your base and what weight you're putting into the floor.